Well, hey friends, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I have a question for you today. Did you ever go into a cave? Were you ever in a cave? You might have had to take a lantern or a flashlight along, or maybe wear a helmet, especially if you were exploring. Now, I've been in a cave on a tour, walking, and even on a boat, but I've never gone into a cave by myself or with a group of people exploring some unknown place. Maybe you have. You know that most caves are underground or under a mountain or a hill, right? Would you want to live in a cave or under a hill where it's dark, somewhat damp, maybe somewhat chilly? Well, maybe if you were into that, and maybe if you were a hermit or something and you wanted to avoid people, you could live in a cave. Well, I found this rhyme, and I have to tell you that I don't remember learning it when I was younger. Maybe you do. There was an old woman lived under the hill, and if she's not gone, she lives there still. Baked apples she sold and cranberry pies, and she's the old woman that never told lies. Now, this rhyme, there was an old woman lived under a hill, dates back to at least 1714. And the original lyrics went something like this. There was an old woman lived under a hill, and if she'd been not gone, she'd live there still. Well, sometimes later the last lines were added and it became there was an old woman lived under the hill, and if she's not gone, she lives there still. Baked apples she sold and cranberry pies, and she's the old woman that never told lies. Good for her. Glad she never told lies. Well, there's no explanation, though, as to why she sold baked apples and cranberry pies. Maybe she just liked them and people bought them, so that's why. But I did find this. One 18th century editor, his name was Oliver Goldsmith, added a note to this poem when he was critiquing it, saying, "This is a very self-evident proposition, which is the very essence of truth. This, she lived under the hill, and if she is not gone, she lives there still. Well, nobody will presume or cannot contradict that. Right? She lived under the hill, and if she's not gone, she lives there still. Today, some would say, well, thank you, Captain Obvious. If she's not there, she's gone." I guess so. So, Mr. Goldsmith used the term self-evident proposition. Self-evident. What is exactly a self-evident truth? Well, a self-evident truth is a truth or a true statement that proves itself without need of further validation or proof. It's so true, it's just true. Do you remember hearing this phrase, "We hold these truths to be self-evident"? Yeah, you might have heard that before. Do you know who said that? Well, that was Thomas Jefferson when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. And the Declaration of Independence of the United States begins with these lines: "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We hold these truths to be self-evident." Truth is truth. You can't argue with the truth. It's just real and true and honest, and well, that's what it is. So do you remember that Jesus said that he was the truth? John 14:6, Jesus said, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Now, I believe that Jesus, as God's Son, spoke the truth. Jesus is the way to God. Jesus points us to God. So, therefore, God is truth. If Jesus said he is the truth and he's pointing us to God, God's truth. So, whatever we hear from God, we can believe it is true. In John 16:13, Jesus said, "Now when the Holy Spirit comes, the Spirit of truth, he will guide you into all the truth. He will not speak on his own. He will speak only what he hears, which is truth. And he will tell you what is still going to happen." So, as we read the Bible, as we read God's words, we can trust them to be true. Psalm 119, 160 says, "All your words are true. All your laws are right, and they last forever." So today, whether we're exploring a cave, under a hill, or living above ground, we can be people of truth. And like the old woman under the hill, we don't have to tell lies or sell cranberry or apple pies, right? We just are people of truth. So, like the old woman who lived under the hill, we believe in truth today. So, trust God. And when you trust God, I know that you will have a day that's filled with joy and a day that's filled with peace.